Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Say What's Real TV. Here to give my top moments from this week's episode of BMF Season 2 Episode 5, Moment of Truth. So coming in at number 10, I got T and Meech making a pit stop to Cleveland to go over there to holler at Cousin James. As we know, Cousin James think he's smarter than the average bear, thinking everything all sweet after he done took Meech's product and lied and claimed he got robbed. So he over there styling and profiling, buying up everything, just chilling. So they roll up on him. T, he goes and yank him out the car, and Meech goes to wailing him, beating him down to the ground so bad that now Meech is bleeding. But Meech, he didn't give a damn. Meech let him know, look, family or no family, you're not going to try me, you're not going to play with me, and you're going to learn today. So Meech takes the car keys from him. They jump in the car, haul ass, leaving James laying on the ground. So coming in at 9, we have Lamar. He is basically doing what Alvin told him to do, and that was take back what he feels is his. So he's in Coney's restaurant. He comes in contact with this young man and told him, look, T and Meech are gone. I'm running the streets now. I got this. Give me all your cash, and told him to run him that chain from around his neck. Now, when we see Lamar walk in this restaurant, Lamar's neck is bare as a baby's behind. We later see Lamar at the table with Alvin in this same restaurant, and he's sitting there looking like Mr. T's baby brother. I'm like, this man and deboed the whole restaurant for their chains, and probably the workers and their mamas. I don't know. He's sitting there getting free food, got the workers all scared. Alvin sitting there looking hungry, like, well, where's my food at? And the guy was like, well, you didn't pay for no food. And he like, well, Lamar ain't pay either. He's so scared, he like, Lamar don't have to pay. Now, Lamar, you dead wrong, because you got Alvin sitting there hungry as hell, and you didn't even offer the man a french fry, and he helped you change your colostomy bag. What kind of shit is that, Lamar? Pun intended. So Alvin tells Lamar, I see you got it going on for now, but what you gonna do when Meech and T come back? And Lamar tells him, with God as his witness and the devil as his hand, he will not leave this earth until Meech is bodied. So as the two of them continue to sit there, Lamar have these guys steady coming to the table, dropping off cash. Alvin is like, this is fun, I can get used to this. And Lamar tells him, it's all fun and all, but it means nothing if you don't have your queen. And he's talking matters of the heart. He's not talking about all that funny business that Alvin is into. So that leads us to number 8. So coming in at 8, we got Lamar knocking on the door. Who opens the door? None other than Monique. She got weapon in hand, ready for whatever. Lamar's like, look, I don't want no smoke. I'm just here to talk to you. I know I messed up. Monique is like, well, hey, your dizzy ass, did you forget that you put your hands on me in front of my daughter and you shot Meech? He didn't apologize for putting his hands on her in front of Zoe or at all. All Lamar was worried about was, how can you defend Meech? He's no different than me. He's no better than me. He is just as much of a beast as I am. He is so jealous of Meech. That's what it all boils down to. But anyway, he lets her know that Meech is the reason he has to wear this colostomy bag. He can't even make love to her the way he wanted to. And Monique was like, let's be clear. You will never, ever get a chance to ever touch me again. So he goes on to his little spiel about how he is grateful he survived the shooting and that he got a second chance in life. And all he wants is a second chance at being with his family. And Monique tells him that Zoe is scared of him and she had to send Zoe away. Lamar tells her she needs to go get Zoe and bring Zoe home because she needs to be with her mother. And I'm not sure if Monique was feeling a little soft or whatever, but it seemed like if he keeps pressing the issue, she might just give in and be right back with Lamar, especially if Meech don't come home. Let's keep our good eye on that. So coming in at 7, we have Denise. We know Denise got cased up last week, so Detective Jen and Detective Brian got her hemmed up, and Brian is laying it on thick, letting her know, look, your dumb ass done got caught with like 3 bricks. And in this state, Anything over 650 grams is an automatic 20 to life. And you got way more than that. So you ain't never getting out. Denise over there shaking like a leaf, looking like, oh my God. So he said, we know that you drive for the Flannerys, but what we really want to know is, are you transporting drugs for Meech and Terry? She's stuttering, she looking, she shaking. Before she could say anything and tell it all, in walks Monique. Monique lets them know, look, get out. They looking at her like, well, who are you? She said she's there to represent Denise, and they are violating her right to counsel. So if they don't want to risk losing whatever case they think they may have, they need to leave. So, of course, they left. She sits down to talk to Denise. Denise was like, well, are you my attorney? She said, not exactly. She tells Denise the company that she works for, the lawyer's office, and she lets her know that, look, we have researched your case and you are going to do jail time no matter what happens. So you have some quote unquote friends, wink, wink, and the friends, they want to help you out. They're willing to support you in the long haul financially and do whatever it is for your son, pay for his college or whatever else. So Denise looking like she may think about it. So she was like, here's my card, take some time to think about this offer, but don't take too long. So we later see a coded conversation between Meech and Monique where Monique lets him know that their acquaintance, equaling Denise, is ready for her first contribution, which lets us know that Denise took the offer and is willing to take the charges. So I guess at the end of the day, we can say Denise was a ride or die chick. Coming in at 6, we got Lucille. She's headed to Chicago with the church for a retreat, and she's asking Charles, is he sure he doesn't want to come? Charles is like, look, this family and business is in a shambles. I can't believe you even want to go. He says he does not want to be preached to, and he's surprised she wants to go with the way she acted last week in church. So Lucille was like, Nikki, go upstairs, let me talk to your dad. Charles says, well, why? It's not like she hasn't heard any of this anyway. Charles walks the hell out and leaves Lucille standing there without talking. So I guess she gets in her feelings and feeling some kind of way. So she goes through his guitar case. She's feeling high and low, searching all around because we know she's looking for the dirty magazines. So apparently Charles took heed from the pastor and hid the magazine somewhere else. So we then see Charles drop Nicole and Lucille off to the church so they can get to the van. And here comes Sister Riley like, oh, Charles, you're not going? I thought we would be able to, I could show you some lyrics or something that I've been working on. And Charles was like, some other time, I guess. And Lucille looking at her like, I know this heifer ain't skinning and grinning all up in my man face like I ain't standing right here. So Lucille, being petty and things, she goes to give Charles this passionate kiss like, I love you, baby. Charles looking at her like, girl, what is this? Like, what are you really doing? Charles didn't even bother to say, I love you back. Sister Riley talking about, don't worry, we'll take good care of her. Child, please. She goes to get in the van and look back at Charles like, I know you up to something, like she was feeling some kind of way. So the retreat is over. They're getting off the van and Lucille stops and asks Sister Riley, can she ask her a question? She was like, sure. She was like, are you sleeping with my man? Just blunt, just all blunt with it. Sister Riley was like, absolutely not. So Lucille is like, well, I see how y'all be looking at each other when y'all performing together and you want him to come look at your little music and lyrics and all of this and that. And she was like, no, I'm not messing with Charles. As a matter of fact, I'm not messing with anybody in the church. Lucille goes off being all judgy, talking about, don't play me for no fool. I see how you come up in this church around all these men. Sister Riley had to tell her, look, when I was younger, I did a lot of things back in the day. I made a lot of mistakes, but I found my way back to the church. And Lucille, she ended up apologizing to her and I guess feeling relieved by the answer that she got. So coming in at 5, we have T and Meech finally making it to Atlanta. They hook up with Earl. Earl is one of K9's guys that Meech already did business with back in Vegas. They're telling him that they have 15 G's. They need to try to get fronted some product because of the drought. Earl basically let them know he couldn't do it. What they needed to do is find this guy named Pint. Pint will turn 1 into 2. So T is giving attitude like he can't believe there's somebody out there that can actually turn 1 brick into 2. So he don't have time for that. He wants to be led towards the nearest dice game. Earl is like, what y'all, some stick-up kids or something? Meech was like, nah, we just trying to get some bank. Earl was like, all right, I got a spot for you. So he goes and takes them down to the strip club. So we get to the strip club, and here's where we meet Goldie, being played by Monique. She's in there handling her business with Leon, the weekly drunk. He's in there talking cash noise, so she just had to go ahead and bash him upside the head real quick and get him out of there. Meech comes up to her and trying to kiss up on her, talking about she smelled good and he's never seen anybody handle their business like that. Goldie had to stop him real quick, like, look, flattery will get your little young ass nowhere. And she said, where y'all from? Because I could tell you're not from around here with that shit in the back of your head. Baby, I was screaming. I'm like, I cannot stand those rat tails in the back of their head. So after getting their introductions out of the way, T decides that he wants to bet. Jimmy tried to stop him, but Goldie saw an opportunity and gave Jimmy the nod like, hey, if that's what he wants to do, let's, go ahead and oblige. Goldie gives her signal. Jimmy gives his signal. We see the dice being changed out. T rolls the bet, and he loses $7,500. Come to find out, Meech over there side betting and put up the other $7,500. So now their $15,000 that they needed for product is gone. They out there busted and disgusted, and Goldie basically done played them. So later on, we see Goldie closing down the club. She's leaving for the night. She's in her car, and all of a sudden, she's blinded by some headlights. Come to find out, it's T and Meech. They got their pieces out. Basically, they let her know they're not trying to really rob her. They just want an opportunity to try to get their money back that they lost in her club. And she was like, she's not running any games, but she knows somewhere she can take them in Buckhead. But it ain't going to be for free, and it ain't going to be all cute. They was like, whatever, just give us that chance. So she takes them to Mike. And Mike has his own little thing going on. So Mike is like, are you vouching for them? Goldie was like, they're here, aren't they? So he lets them get in the game. They are winning everything. Mike, he ends up getting upset because he thinks something funny going on. So he stops in the middle of the game and lets them know, look, y'all over here cheating or something because I'm watching y'all trying to play me. He says, no, give me them dice. He switched out the dice. He said, now roll with these. And if y'all not doing the same thing y'all was doing before, I'm going to kill both of you, and told Goldie, and I ain't messing with you no more. And so T, he rolls the dice, rolls a perfect 7. They win all their money back. And basically Mike done got hotter than fish grease. And Goldie told him, look, I ain't messing with your ass no more, and don't try me no more like that, because you know who I am. I know that's right, Goldie. So coming in at number 4, we got Meech and T meeting up with Ty Washington at one of the college football games. They chop it up a bit, and Ty tells them to stop by his crib the next day. They get over there to the crib, and they are amazed at how well he is over there living. It's nothing like what they got going on in Detroit. They are also introduced to a guy named Carl. So they all sit down, and Ty basically asks them what brings them to Atlanta. Meech goes and tells them that they came there to cop, they got tapped in the dice game and lost their money, and basically the guy that was going to be the connect, Earl, tried them, so, they try to find other ways. And he wanted to know, can Ty front them 10 keys till they get straight? And Ty told him, no, not in this drought. So Meech was like, well, we heard that a guy was out here that can whip 1 into 2. So Ty wanted to know, where you heard that from? And Meech was like, come on now. We go way back. So he was like, you got it. Like, why you can't, basically Meech was asking, since you living high like this, you got it going on, why you can't front us like that? And Meech, it don't work like that, player. That's how Ty living and keep what he got. He ain't just giving it out because he got it. I mean, come on. So Ty told him to stop all the gambling, Get your money right, manage your money, come back when you got something, and I'll see what I can do for you. So later on, after Goldie helped these two get their money back from Big Mike, they come back and he has some product for them, and they lay it out at the table, and they was like, oh, that's all we get. And he was like, well, in the drought, that's all you're gonna get. They look at Carl and basically call him out and say, hey, look, how much are you gonna charge us to whip this up for us? Because we know that you're pint. They call him out. He basically admitted, after everybody go to looking all crazy, like, how did y'all find that out? And they asked him how much he gonna charge. He told them a bird. So we see T and Meech having a side conversation, trying to figure out how they're gonna pay Pint. And reluctantly, T has to agree to sell his car. They do it apparently because next thing we know, we see them all in the kitchen. Pint, he's whipping up his recipe for the 2-for-1, and he's also teaching T what to do. So T and Meech, they sit down at the table to have a conversation, and what it boils down to is T lets Meech know that he's back in the game 100%. Meech is glad to hear that, and they agreed that it is womb to the tomb, back like he never left. So coming in at 3, we got Detective Bryant. He's at the precinct, and in walks Detective Jen with his son Kevin. Immediately, Bryant notices that Kevin doesn't have shoes on, and he knows that yet again Kevin has been bullied by Marcus at the school. He's taking his Nikes. Bryant was like, well, did you hit him like I told you to? Kevin was like, no, he didn't. He was like, look, son, you got to start defending yourself, or people are going to do this to you for the rest of your life. And he was like, look, I'm going to put you in this and that and the other. And Kevin was like, look, I'm not into sports. I'm not like you. Stop trying to make me be like you. And it seems like he gets more pressured when it's dealing with his dad as opposed to somebody bullying him at the school. So, Bryant was like, whatever. He hugs him. He loves his son. You can tell, but I feel so bad for Kevin. He seems like such a great kid. His dad is like, look, I'm going to the principal's office tomorrow, and I'm going to end all this foolishness. Kevin, once again, is like, Dad, look, it's taken care of. Everything is handled. Like, stop listening to me sometimes. Like, you never want to listen to what I say. Like, your way is not always the right way. So Kevin is upset that his dad won't leave it alone. But, of course, we know Bryant is going to do what the hell he want to do. And of course, we got Detective Jen. She's outside listening to the entire conversation. So Detective Brian catches the principal outside of her office. She's being very dismissive, like she don't really have time to be talking. Detective Brian is like, well, are you not going to protect my son? You have a kid here, Marcus, bullying my child, taking his clothes, roughing him up, messing up his cartoons. And then Kevin in the background talking about their comics. Brian looking like, if you don't shut your ass up. And basically he's like, and it needs to stop. Like, what are you going to do about it? And the principal looks at Kevin and she's like, Kevin, is this true? Kevin is like crickets. You don't hear a word. Then we see the Marcus and his little goons. They're standing there daring Kevin to say something. And the principal was like, look, if he doesn't want to talk about it, none of the staff has seen anything and reported anything, there's basically nothing she can do. She walks off, and Bryant, he looks at Kevin. Kevin trying to act like he wants some kind of protection now. And Bryant told him, you go back to school. Since you don't want to talk, stay here and deal with Marcus and his boys. So later on, after having a conversation with Detective Jen, Detective Bryant comes up with a plan, and he goes to B. Mickey's house. B. Mickey thinks he's there because he wants to rough him up to get information about Meech and Terry, but that's not the case. He tells him, I'm not here for that. I need you to do something else for me. We don't hear what it is, but we later see B. Mickey go to the school and confront Marcus and his boys and proceeds to beat Marcus down to a pulp and let him know, look, don't mess with Kevin Bryant again. So coming in at 2, we got Lucille. She's in the kitchen slicing up apples. Somebody is bamming on their door like they're the police. So she's yelling for Nicole to go answer the door. Nicole is nowhere to be found. So she has to try to clean her hands off, wipe the knife off, and then try to go answer the door. She gets ready to stick the knife in her pocket, but she leaves the knife on the counter. And she goes, she doesn't ask who is it. She don't even look out the little side window or curtain or nothing. She just opens the door and oh my God, it's Lamar. Instantly she grabs and put her hands in her pocket. But remember, the knife is over there on the counter. So she still got her hand in her pocket. And Lamar is like, are you Meech and Terry's mom? And instantly, I guess she knows she felt something wasn't right. And she tells him, let's pray. Nicole finally wants to come down the stairs and she sees Lamar talking to her mom, so she runs to call T. She lets T know that the guy that killed Darius is at their house talking to their mom. T, he gets like frantic and lets Meech know we gotta go. I don't know how long he think it's gonna take for them to get there, but hey, it is what it is. So back to Lucille and Lamar. She is praying for him, praying real hard. Lamar, he looking at her crazy. We see the gun in the small of his back. One hand on the gun. She takes both his hands to continue to try to pray. And I guess when she get to the part about God giving you a second chance to, save your life or something, I guess that hit home because that's somewhat of what he told Monique a little earlier. And he decides to leave. And Lucille's life is spared on this day. Thank you, Jesus. And coming in at number 1, we got raggedy ass Charles. Charles couldn't go on a retreat because he was too busy trying to get over there with Mabel. He over there pretending he fixing on her cabinets or whatever. Did you fix that hole you put in the wall last week? Because I see you still didn't paint. So you could have been in there fixing up your own house while the house was empty. But no, you over there at Mabel's house. She over there looking all sultry and sensual, asking him, do he want something to eat? Do he need to talk to somebody? And telling him how they helped her out since she done got her divorce and all this and that. And, Charles acting all like, oh, well, maybe I should go. Go for what, Charles? Go for what? You went over there for a reason, Slick. So she tells him if he wants to unwind, she's throwing this party on Saturday and he's more than welcome to come because she know he can cut a rug. So then Charles, he decides to show up to the party all decked down, probably got his little cologne on, his little axe or whatever they was wearing back in the day, probably Cool Water or something. So he shows up, they get to dancing, he jamming, they on the dance floor jamming. Mabel, she even got him drinking a little drinky drink. One of her little friends up there grabbing all on Charles behind and all that. I'm like, well, what is all of this? So later on, Charles, he getting ready to try to act like he gonna leave, and Mabel was like, you don't have to rush off. And of course, they get to kissing and things, and next thing you know, Charles done rammed up into Mabel from behind. I said, wow, unbelievable. You raggedy dog, you. No kind of protection, no condom, no nothing. Just all up in it. They want to highlight the doggone wedding ring. Like, why? We know he married. We know that. So he gave her a few pumps here and there and then gonna act like he gotta rush the hell on off. I said, ugh. And left Mabel all up against the wall, cheesing like that was the best sex she ever had. I'm like, girl, no. We see Charles, he done ran home, so he in the kitchen. I don't know if he washing dishes or washing his hands. I don't know what Charles doing. He should have ran his ass to the tub. But he's standing there skinning and grinning, reminiscing about that little quick session he had on the wall. Like, your sex game is weak as hell. All of a sudden, Lucille comes in. We know she over there feeling guilty because she done embarrassed herself stepping to Sister Riley. And she feel like, oh, well, my man, I ain't find no magazines and he ain't cheating on Sister Riley. So I got a good man and let me give my man some stuff, right? So she coming in all, hey, baby, blah, 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 trying to kiss all up on him. Charles like, oh, Lord, what am I going to do? Charles done eased his little ass away from her real quick like and ran his ass to the tub to take a bath, right? We see Charles trying to act like he's sexy and stuff, coming all out the shower just in the towel, like, he showing us something like, Charles, please, no, we don't want it. So Lucille, she was ready when he got out the shower. She got the little nightgown on she had on a couple of weeks ago when he didn't want the coochie. But now she got it on and she done stepped to a man. She kissing a man and, he had to give in because what else he was going to do, right? But what he should have did was probably just tried to give her some mouth. That's what he should have did instead of sticking that little dirty D all up in his wife when he just ran up in another female not even a couple of hours ago. You little nasty peasant, you. So he gonna have sex with Lucille, gave her like 1 or 2 pumps. I'm like, you don't even do foreplay, no cuddling, no nothing. You just, So he lays there looking all crazy in the face because he know he dead ass wrong. I can't stand Charles. Those were my top moments for episode 5. Drop down below and let me know what your top moments were. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.